Okay, let's move on. Right, so kind of like a previous suggestion, this could be more symmetrical. Like if you, what do you call it? Make, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. So if you kind of look here, along this line, this could be more symmetrical. That'd be nice. But another thing that you could do is that I don't generally see this type of flow all that often in some maps. So you might want to include a flow change around here. Just because going in a circle could be a little different. I mean, that's something. Right, and blanket that. But, whatever. Point is that there are things you could do. Like this. Like this. There are different flows that you could use if you want, just to alleviate some of the circular kind of flow that you have a lot. Similarly, kind of like how I was talking about where angles can emphasize certain spots, I like this. This is very nice. It's a very good intro to the Ki section, the orange section. This note is a little bit emphasized. So having a strong angle between these guys like that. Alright, let's would help emphasize this note a little bit more. And I think that would help out. At least that's something you should consider instead of going in a circle. Now, besides that, there's just a lot of structure things that can be done. So what I recommend is that you do this for 7. So that you copy paste, and now you have this nice line here. Get rid of all the 1/4 ones. And this can be like octagonal. Not octagonal, hexagonal or something. Like one thing you could do is make triangles here. So this is a 1.2 spacing, right? So what you do is you put this here and this here. And you make a triangle with 1.2 spacing up here. So I'm going to set my spacing to 1.2. I'm going to make sure that each new section is 1.2. And so you kind of have this nice triangle right here, but what you do instead is you take this note, put it here, and now you make another triangle again. So now you have a nice triangular type of thing, and if you were to do this, it would make a hexagon kind of shape around this 2 center piece. And then again, you can make a triangle here and find out a way to make it like this. So this would incorporate not only the flow change I talked about, but also this structure type of thing. This might go here. Or maybe here. Who knows? I'll let you figure that out, but basically the idea is that you can use a little bit more structure in this area. Also what you could use is jumps. Jumps would really help you emphasize certain aspects of this. What you kind of have to look for is the strong notes of in the rhythm, and I'm pretty sure that this is going with the singer. So you have to look at the strong notes, which are hard because she's repeating the same sound over and over again, but it's dun 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 dun. So this one was strong. Dun 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 dun. She repeats it again. She like has this like little thing right here where she repeats that. And then she does it again at this 2 note. And then she emphasizes this one as well when she stops repeating the Zen lyric. So on the one hand, what you could do is take take this and do this. Put that there. Take this and put it there. And while we're doing that, why not include this whole type thing that we were working on. And then if you did it right, this should be like this very nice triangle. So like that's all like a billiard kind of thing. It looks kind of cool. So if we were to continue, we would want to jump here, which means we could do something like this. Oh, just put it here. Maybe something like that. And you could find like this, like this would fill in the hexagon here. That kind of hexagon, you would put it there. I'm not going to do it now for some reason. Also, this might be new. Well, anyway, that's an example of just adding jumps to your patterns, just to give a little bit of emphasis. This might be too much. Like maybe this right here started the lyrics off a little bit too hard, so maybe you know put a jump here instead, or here, which completes the line, or here. Well, that's not exactly a jump, but you get the idea. You can change the spacing around if you want. It doesn't have to conform to the structure of the thing, but you should try to incorporate as much structure as you can, and also the a correct amount of emphasis. You should emphasize notes that feel like they should be emphasized, because then the player gets a little bit more out of the map. It's like, oh, hey, I get why this is a jump. It's expressive of this and this all. So that's just stuff to do. This kind of pause right here needs to be filled, I think. At the very least you should do is make this that. Although, we can probably get away with this too, because there's a track in the background. It's going dun 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 dun. This note is also emphasized, so it's probably better to break away from this circle kind of flow and put an angle. Should really look for more instances like that. This could be more symmetrical. Oops. This part here could be more symmetrical. Probably move this down a bit. Something. No. Well. This wouldn't be exactly right, because this is it would be symmetrical along like this line, which isn't necessarily the case. You might wanna. Although I guess, yeah, sure. It's probably not bad. See, you have a little bit more symmetry by doing just copy paste and flip. And again, I'm using the flip keys, Control H and Control J, Control H, Control J. Yeah. One interesting thing you could do is put this little thing right here, like a little nook. It looks a little bit better if you had like a second note, like if it worked like this, and then you went back up. But that just like that's kind of an aside. Also, remember trapezoid, but that would be kind of an aside if you had a different rhythm. Like if your rhythm was this, which I'm not saying it should be, just in case it was, like that would be a cool kind of thing to do. Potentially, I don't know. Again, trapezoid, but I'm too lazy. So let's go back. One of these notes should be spaced bigger to give more emphasis along with that spacing idea. I mean, there's probably more notes along somewhere around here, and like throughout the ki that should be spaced. Like, so if you go with the suggestions way back here, right, about spacing, right, and you want to emphasize certain notes, you should be consistent about the way you space things throughout the ki. Like, oh, this is a strong note because I feel the same way I did about it over here. You know, over here I felt a certain way about the song, so I'm going to keep that feeling, and whenever I feel that way again, I'm going to space out the thing in the right way, like I did before. So there should probably be more spacing, things like that, if you're going to make that change. And so one of these notes are emphasized. If you're going with a singer, actually they're both here. So this note should be spaced out a little bit bigger. This note is kind of emphasized. And this note is where the jump is. The beat is. So maybe something like that. Well, I don't like blanket now. Blanket doesn't really work as well, because if this is supposed to be small spacing, right? If this is supposed to be small spacing because this is not a strong note, and this is supposed to be strong spacing, you'd have to space it so that, like, something like that. Right. So that way you keep this small distance, but you have this as a big distance, and then there's obviously just no blanket potential here. So that's why blankets don't always work in certain situations. Sometimes you need spacing varieties. Otherwise, you just like space it in a different way. For instance, I could blanket this, and then that makes a lot of sense. Small spacing, big spacing, and I still have this kind of blanket thing. I would need to get it a little bit more perfect, obviously, but I'm a little lazy, so I'm not going to do it right now. You know, extend this curve out, yeah. Something at least like that. Yeah, so this could have a lot more structure. Might help to go up here. Oops, daisy, what happened? What? No, this is not. What? Stop it, editor. What do you mean to me? For instance, this might be like, you could, so this might form a triangle type thing, right? And then you could blanket that. So what you first do is you start out by getting the triangle right. So this needs to be 1.6 because this spacing is 1.6. So you would 1.6 this. Up top, I'm looking at the DS, I got them at 1.6. Then you set this back the right way. So we just need to rotate until this is 1.6 around the selection center, 1.62, turn it one more time. There we go, it's probably blanketed. So this looks at least a little bit better. One thing that could be done is that I didn't consider this distance, that might be 1.6, ought to be 1.6, maybe this should be blanketed. This could be like something stacked or something, I don't really know, but it's an option. You can figure out your spacing. If you're going to do this, then you probably want to make this line straight with the slider, essentially. Up to you. This might have more structure, like being a little symmetrical between these guys. I don't really know. It's up to you. I don't know what you want to do with the pattern. I just said like, oh well, this could be used for structural improvements because you don't have any structure going on. So here's a suggestion.